Hey guys, appreciate you tuning in to my YouTube channel. A lot of y'all probably know me as the guy on the offensive side of the ball, but a little history. I actually got my teeth cut in football on the defensive side of the ball. Came up as a defensive line coach for a little bit, and then DBs, and then as a defensive coordinator before I moved to a head coach and moved over to the offensive side of the ball. So I've got my Gun T RPO series up. I'm actually working on putting out a defensive series for those of you interested in the 3-4, which is something that we've run. So I'm going to be spending this week kind of going through some different defensive things that may help you, whatever system you run. So the first thing I want to talk about is tackling. A lot of times, in my opinion, the most undercoached part of defense is having very good tacklers. And a lot of times tackling can be genetic. You know, some guys are born very athletic, so they're going to be good tacklers naturally. But we feel you can teach your team to tackle well by going through a few different things. First thing I'd like to challenge you guys on is to get rid of the tackling circuits that you see out there. And what I mean by those are where every kid on your team, from your 3 technique that might weigh 350 pounds to your 140-pound corner, are working the same drills. There's a time for that, probably in the spring, or if we're not going to have spring football this year, maybe early summer, where you are teaching basic fundamental drills. But I don't think there's really a place for it after about the 3rd week of football, because these kids are working so many different type of tackles in a game that we don't want to spend a lot of time teaching them things they're not going to use. So here's how we organize our tackling, and maybe it can help you. First thing we do is we go one-on-one tackling, and we work that inside of our individual position groups. So there are some tackling drills we do with every kid. You know, we work on wrapping and keeping our eyes up. We work on attacking with our near shoulder, the back hip is how we teach it. I'm a huge fan of Atavus and their tackling system. I think they've got some really cool stuff. If you've not checked them out, it'd be worth your time. We use a lot of their concepts in one-on-one tackling, and so we work a whole lot on, when we finally get there, how to put the clamp, how to run our feet. You know, we work all of those tackling drills, but we want to do that inside of our individual time, because I want my DBs working on individual tackles they're going to make. And we want our defensive line working on individual tackles that they're going to make. And so we start off, every kid works tackling. And then we start working skills. Like our DBs are going to be coming from space, closing it down and making a tackle, where our defensive linemen are going to be shedding a block, coming down a heel line. So we want to work what they're going to do in a game, not necessarily, oh, this is a cool tackle drill. So we start off tackling, and then we do tackling plus a skill. Okay, the second thing is we start working, that I think we're unique with, is we pod our guys up with similar positions that are going to make tackles together. For instance, with us, our corners and our safeties, that's an obvious one. They're going to make a lot of tackles together, and they start learning where their help comes from. Where's your leverage? You know, where do I need to work? And that lets your kids understand a few things. We might not be able to tackle that guy one-on-one, but we can tackle him if we know I've just got to make sure he doesn't get outside of me, and I got help coming from inside. Or if I'm playing inside, I know I got help coming from outside. So your kids start to learn tackling 2-on-1, how to work that, essentially like a basketball track, where you're tracking the hip of the guy. One guy's tracking the inside, one guy's tracking the outside, and we'll work our different groups here. So we'll put our inside linebackers with defensive linemen, so they work on how they're going to overlap and fit differently. Our outside backers and our safeties, our outside backers and our inside backers. And so potting them up allows them to work with groups they're going to work with. Then we'll add in a skill with that, where they've got to come from space, or you make it more difficult. Maybe they've got to shed a block, something. You're adding a skill in that they're going to use in their position, and then they're going to make a tackle. So there's lots of great drills out there that we run. I've got some farther on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out, and I'll have a lot more when I put out that 3-4 system. And then we do team tackling, pursuit tackling. I'm not a big believer ever in running to cones. I know there's times you have to use them just because that's what you got to do. But we don't tackle cones where I come from. We tackle people. And so we want to work on tracking a person. So we always want to do, anytime we're doing a team pursuit drill, there's somebody running the ball. We call it hip drill. It's my favorite drill we run. It's, if you go through my YouTube channel, it's farther back in there. You can get more details on it. But the idea here is we're working tackling that's going to happen in a game. We're not just working a tackling drill to work a tackling drill. We want our kids to be able to visualize why we're doing the drill and why it matters to them. And we've found when they believe in it, when they understand where it shows up on a Friday night game, they're going to give you great effort, and they're also going to be able to hone skills or refine skills they're actually going to use in a game. So first thing I want to talk about, guys, was tackling. I hope you got something from it. There's a lot more information, if you would like it, on my YouTube channel, and I'm coming out with my 3-4 defensive series. There'll be a lot more on that.